Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here to present you our NFL Week 5 tight end and defensive plays. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our NBA, MLB, and NFL videos. And if you haven't already, go check out our new website at www.dfscheatsheet.com. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out. So check it out. Like I said, hey, we got everything that you need to win some serious money in the DFS industry. So yeah, www.dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, how you doing out there, Jeremy?
What's up, man? I'm just sitting here looking at Instagram, and I still can't get over the Kawhi Leonard laugh. So just getting my fix going on here.
Hey, bro, so real quick, before we get into this video, AJ, check this out, all right? Hey, I love NBA DFS. It's my absolute favorite DFS sport. You feel me? I know you love it too. Today was my first day that I played NBA preseason, right? And make a long story short, I had three people. They purchased the NBA season-long package that just went live today, $200. Get you all NBA season cash lineup for FanDuel, DraftKings for me every day. Plus, you get full access to our optimizer. Make a long story short, I made a quick lineup today, and I threw it out to 3 of my members that already, they jumped on it and they quickly got our package. Make a long story short, bro, DraftKings took down every single GPP. Every single GPP, bro. My boy, hey, he paid the $200 today for his package, right? He put in 175 to play. So he was in on the day 375. He came up almost 2,500, bro. Hey, NBA hasn't even started for us, and we're already taking down tournaments. Hey, it's crazy though. I can't wait for it.
There's real money making opportunities with NBA preseason. There really is, because it's about paying attention and rotations, and starters aren't going to play a lot of minutes, and it takes some research, but there's big tournaments out there. I mean, I know that I looked today and there was a $5 with a $10,000 first place prize.
That was $6. Yeah, I seen that.
$6, 10 grand. I mean, it's preseason and there's 10 grand, and there's people who are going to throw lineups in there that are dead money because they're going to fill it up with starters who are going to play between maybe 12 and 24 minutes depending on the night. So there's real opportunities. Perfect segue into the luxury box package that's on sale now for $200. Perfect example with somebody using that. They're in 375 on the day. They're at 8x and we're only in preseason, and he's 8x already.
I'm telling you, don't miss out on our NBA season package. I'm telling you, it's going down. You get in our group chat. That's a lot of fun as well. So, yeah, go check out the site. Like I said, take advantage of the package, dfscheatsheet.com. And so, hey, let's get into this video, do what we're supposed to do. Sorry.
You know what? Real quick, man, one thing that's really worth mentioning is that the group chat, that's direct access to us all day long, especially on a sport that's daily like NBA or MLB. We're in there all day long. I mean, people are asking questions, so it's not like, oh, just buy it to get a cash game lineup or just buy it to get access to the optimizer. No, buy it because the chat is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that gets talked about in the chat. A lot of plays that get given in the chat. Members ask questions, and we answer questions for the members pretty much all day long. So that's worth its weight in gold too.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, all day. I mean, I've had so many customers over the past 2 years tell me that they became really good DFS players because they've watched what I've done. They ask me questions, and we like to help people out. We're a coach, so we coach you up. Plus, you get our cash lineups. Plus, you get full access if you want to put 150 lineups in GPP. Hey, $200 is nothing for 6 months worth of NBA for sure. So yeah, let's get into this tight end and defense video. I'll get it started first. I'll get started quickly. We'll start first. I'm gonna go with Jared Cook for the Raiders. I mean, he's only 5,900, very fair price tag. He's going against the Chargers. I expect this game to be a big time scoring game. It's going to go back and forth. I like both offenses in this game. Cook is third in the league in targets for tight ends. He He got 13 last week alone. He got 12 in week 1. So, I mean, I know that I skipped 2 weeks, but it's just showing the fact that Derek Carr likes to throw him the ball. You know, he's getting tons of targets. He's a red zone target. You know, I like everything about Cook, and you know, I think that he's a really good cash game play on this slate.
So he gets 12 targets week 1 against the Rams, very competitive game for them. And then he gets 13 targets last week in a game that, you know, they win 45-42 and score 45 points. The point I made last week was that I pointed out that Marshawn Lynch had all of a sudden become somebody who liked to talk to the media and was saying how close he felt the offense was. You know, it's a John Gruden offense. It's a West Coast offense. The tight end is going to be heavily involved anytime you're running any variation of the West Coast offense. So I love Jared Cook. I think he's a staple in this. I do like some other plays in this game as well, but I do look for this game to be a high-scoring game. Like we mentioned before in our recap video earlier, there's guys on both sides of this that historically play well against either the Chargers or the Raiders, right? You know, your Melvin Gordons, your Amari Coopers. Jared Cook has had some good games against them as well, and I just keep looking for him. I think that week 1, you look at Cook with 12 targets, and you're asking yourself, is it the matchup? But I think we're 4 weeks into it. He's got 35 targets in those 4 weeks. I think you can say he's a cog in the wheel at this point.
Right, for sure. All right, so who you got for us?
So for a tournament player, this week is really, really cool for the tight end position because if you're going to build a lot of lineups, the one thing that's cool about as we get into NFL, the pricing starts to balance out and guys start to get kind of bunched together. And for tournaments, it's really good because you can literally make one lineup and then just switch a guy out. So I'm going to give you a few different plays and really kind of a wide a range of players that are in that price range that you can get into. So there's really 4 tight ends that are kind of grouped together. I'll give you the first one that I like. Going against the 49ers at $5,100 is Ricky Seals-Jones. The 49ers are 7th worst against tight ends. They're giving up 15.9 points per game, fantasy points per game to tight ends. A tight end is it's a good safety valve for a young quarterback. And I think that this guy's he showed last year he can be really explosive. He's got 2 touchdown upside. I like Seals-Jones and I like his price at $5,100, and I like that group of tight ends at $5,100 and below. So like I said, there's 4 guys. I'll get into all 4 of them in just a little bit after you give your next pick.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. I was actually looking at him too. I mean, he's a big target for sure. I mean, I definitely think he can get a couple of red zone targets. I mean, a good price tag. So I definitely think that he's a solid play. The next guy that I'm going to go with is going to be Jimmy Graham. He hasn't had a big-time game really yet with the Packers. Right now, everybody's hurt, you know, in the receiving core for the Packers. You got Allison's probably going to be out with a concussion. You got Cobb is probably going to be out with a hamstring. So it really just leaves Jimmy Graham and it leaves Davante Adams. I think both of those guys are very good plays. I definitely think this is a solid spot that Graham could have a really, you know, a breakout game. He's going to be going against Detroit. Detroit's defense is middle of the pack, but I definitely think this game is really going to be a shootout. You know, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and you know, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to throw the ball. And I see it where, you know, Graham's going to get 10-plus targets this week. You know, in the past 3 games, he's got 8 targets, 7 targets, and 6 targets. Now that everybody's out, I could definitely see a 10-target game for him. So Jimmy Graham at a, you know, very fair price tag of, I think he's $6,100. I mean, I think that he's a really, really good play. He's probably going to be really low owned as well.
The thing I like about Jimmy Graham in this offense is he's not a prototypical hand in the dirt tight end. He's a line up in the slot, line up in the backfield, run out in the flat, run speed outs, run down the middle of the field in the seam. He's kind of the thing about Jimmy Graham, when you look back to when he was in New Orleans, he was an absolute mismatch for linebackers. And I like him in Green Bay. I think as he starts to get more familiar with the system and him and Aaron Rodgers continue to build chemistry, I think he's going to keep growing. I think that he'll get better as they get healthier, as Aaron Rodgers gets healthier, as they start to establish a little bit of the running game, as they start to get Randall Cobb back involved. You know, Allison has been involved already. Allison's been a really good wide receiver, especially at the value tier. And then, you know, you've still got Davante Adams, a guy that they, you know, for the last year and a half have thought would be their big play wide receiver. So I love Jimmy Graham. I like him. Maybe not as much this week. It's more of a necessity play for me because of the guys that are probably going to be out.
Right.
I don't necessarily like it that much because I feel like it's a necessity play. And what I mean is, in comparison to when they're fully healthy, I think this guy's going to be a huge weapon in the middle of the field for them. Check down guy, they'll swing out of the backfield. They'll have him heavily involved in the play action game, etc. So I like him this week. But this week I like him because of necessity. Going forward, I like him as a weapon for them as they get their pieces healthy.
It makes absolute sense.
So Austin Seferian-Jenkins is another guy I like. 19 total targets, which is about half of the top 3 or 4 guys. But at $4,600, he's a good pivot off a guy that I think is going to be popular, and that's Vance McDonald at $4,600. The Chiefs are 4th worst against the tight end. And like I said, there's really 4 guys that I like at this price point between $5,100, $5,200 down to $4,600. And that's Seals Jones. I like Austin Hooper as well. He's in a real high over-under game and a really good matchup against a team who hasn't been good against tight ends. Vance McDonald, obviously, who you mentioned, and then Seferian-Jenkins. So that's 4 guys that I like at that price point this week. I don't think it's a week where you have to go all the way up to tight end. I think that there's going to be really good value plays. There's a couple of these tight ends who are in good matchups, good high over-unders. So Seferian-Jenkins is my second pick. But like I said, there's 4 guys there that I think you can play and kind of mix and match with each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, and for my last pick, I'm really not going to go into it because you already touched on it. I like Vance McDonald. I think that he's a really good play. For your cash games, 4,600. He's got at least 5 targets, every game this year so far. And the first game it was all about James. James had a really good week. That's the name, right? James, correct? The other tight end for the Steelers.
Jesse James, yeah.
Yeah. So James had a really good week 1, but then the past couple of weeks he hasn't done nothing. Really, you know what I mean? And I think it's
week 1. Vance McDonald didn't play.
What happened?
Week 1 against Cleveland, Vance McDonald didn't play.
He didn't play. Okay, that makes sense then why James had a good one. So yeah, like I said, I mean, I feel like he's building some really good chemistry with Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger looks for him, 4,600, pretty much minimum price. And the game that has the highest implied over under, I think it's a no-brainer. I definitely think he's going to be really high on in your cash games. And I mean, that's all I got really for tight end. You got anything else for us, or you want to go a little more in depth on a couple other plays?
Tight end, I think that wraps it up. We can move over to defense.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we'll hit up defense real quick. My first defense that I like is going to be the Titans going against the Bills. The Bills offense has just been horrible. Plain and simple, they got shut out last week by the Packers, whose defense isn't very good themselves. Bills, they did have one good week against the Vikings. I don't know what happened that week. I have no explanation. For me, it was a gimmick game. The Bills offense isn't good. Titans defense is a very fair price tag. So they're going to be my first defense that I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I think it's if nothing else, it's a chalky play, right? I mean, it's and that's what it is. It's almost a free square because it's Buffalo, right? You're picking against Buffalo, and Tennessee. Look, the only thing I can say about it is it's a chalky play. It's an easy pick. It's kind of what I said to you before we hopped on, right? It's an easy pick because it's chalk, but that's what you have to do sometimes. You got to take the free square when it's given to you. And they're perfectly capable of shutting Buffalo down. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with Philadelphia last week, and until further notice, that's the defending Super Bowl champs. Right. I'm going to hop into Carolina. I like them at 4,400. The thing about Carolina, week 1 against Dallas, I know it's Dallas, 12 points, 6 sacks, a fumble recovery. Week 2, they get lit up, right, by Atlanta. They get 1 fantasy point. They do have 1 interception against Matt Ryan. Week 3, they get 10 fantasy points against Cincinnati. The Red Rockets been really good. We just saw them go and shoot out and beat Atlanta. They get 2 sacks and 4 interceptions against Andy Dalton. So they've got a couple of changes. They just added Eric Reed. He's an upgrade to safety position for them. Their pass rush has been good, like I said. They've got after the quarterback. They have forced turnovers. So I think they upgrade the safety position. I think this is a matchup that they can exploit. And I think at $4,400 is a very fair price.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like it. So, I mean, my next player I'm going to go with is going to be the 49ers going against the Cardinals. Honestly, for me, the reason I'm looking at this play is the Cardinals offense is last in the league. They have a horrible offense. They're not very good. And the 49ers defense, I mean, you talked about them a couple weeks ago, and you know they're not that bad of a defense. You know what I mean? And going against the worst offense in the league, for me, it was just kind of a cheap play. Just put them in. You know, between the Titans and between the 49ers, both of them being very cheap in the matchups that they have, I wouldn't be surprised if each of them was like 35, 40% owned. You know what I mean? Especially in your cash games.
Right.
So 49ers is going to be my second pick at defense.
Right now, to be honest with you, I have the 49ers as my second overall defense listed, and I have Tennessee as my number one defense. So I can't argue with either one of those picks. My top four are actually Tennessee, San Francisco, Carolina, and then my next pick, which is Baltimore. Baltimore, they're second in the league in total defense. They're fourth against the pass. They're fourth against the run. They've got 10 sacks, 4 picks, and two forced fumbles. I think Baltimore showed in prime time the other night that they are the real deal and they're the team to beat in that division. I think Baltimore's a solid team. They're always solid on the special team side of it. And, you know, for those of you who aren't aware, special teams counts for defensive points. So they're always solid special teams wise. And then anytime you've got, you know, the players and the personnel they've got defensively, I think that you've got and they've got a good matchup. Let's face it, the matchup for them is really good this week. Cleveland is Cleveland. I know they put up 42 points against the Raiders, but until further notice, it's still Cleveland. They're still 0 for the season, you know, minus the win they had the other 2 weeks ago in the debut of Baker Mayfield against the Jets. You know, that one win is what? One in their last 21, I think. So, you know, Baltimore is a proven team. This is a contender. They've shown they're a contender. And, you know, I think they're going to get overlooked at $4,200. It's, you know, you're picking the two picks you got, 39 and 38. Those are really fair priced plays that are more, you know, along the lines of, especially with San Francisco, it's more of a pump play, right? Like you mentioned. But Baltimore's only $300 more, and this is a solid defense on a team that's going to compete in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the Ravens defense. I actually have them ranked as my number 3 defense, to be honest with you. But I like the other ones were a little bit cheaper, so I was trying to save a little bit of money. Yeah, I love the Ravens. I mean, Baker Mayfield, the guys had a couple little good moments and this and that, but Ravens defense, they're a veteran defense. They're very good. I mean, for the most part, they shut down Ben Roethlisberger in that offense, and that offense is way better than the Cleveland Browns offense is. So, yeah, sign me up. You know, definitely. I like them, and I like the Titans, 49ers. And then I wasn't really on Carolina, but, you know, you have some very valid points for them. So, yeah, I mean, that's all. That's where I'm really at for defense as well. You got anything else for defense? Are you pretty good?
I think with me and with Carolina, I think that there's two big pieces there, right? The first piece is they upgraded safety with Eric Reed. And then number 2, I believe that, you know, they played early last week. Did they play the Thursday night game last week? Or were they on bye?
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth.
But I like the fact that Luke Kuechly's coming off a long rest. Right. I want that dude to be healthy because he's a difference maker. Period. Point blank.
He's like Sean Lee for us. One, he can be healthy.
Stay healthy. Yeah.
So, hey, well, that's it, man. That's all I got for a defensive tight end. I'm not going to keep rambling on all night. But, yeah, hey, make sure you guys go check out. I got the NBA package. Just had the takedown. Go check it out, dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, thanks for helping me out with this video, Jeremy. And, hey, we'll be back tomorrow with our wide receiver video. And that's it, man. Hey, peace out, guys.